Welcome to Leading in Luxury, the podcast where we dive deep into the strategies and stories shaping the boutique and luxury hospitality industry. I'm your host, Daniel Renna. For those of you just joining us, we are DMR AI Hospitality Solutions, and we specialize in helping the boutique and luxury hospitality industry scale their revenue and profitability by acquiring new clients. We believe in leveraging cutting-edge technology to enhance, not replace, the human element of hospitality. Today, we have a truly distinguished guest, Graham Hardiman. Graham is a fellow at the Institute of Hospitality and the founder of the Mystery Partnership, an organization that has been setting and assessing luxury hospitality standards for 30 years, from hotels and game reserves to cruise ships across the globe. He brings an unparalleled depth of knowledge on what truly defines and maintains excellence in high-end service. Graham, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure to join you, Daniel, and thanks for joining up.
Indeed. With 3 decades in the luxury hospitality market, from managing hotels to founding the Mystery Partnership, you've had a front row seat to its evolution. Can you start by telling us about the Mystery Partnership and how you've refined the art of measuring and ensuring exceptional service standards for your clients?
Yeah, sure. My background comes from being a hotel manager, and I managed hotels in the UK, in Australia, and my last positions were managing a small group of hotels in Barbados in the Caribbean. So that was my background, and I use mystery guests from Florida to assess our customer service. And when I went back to the UK, and some partners set up the mystery partnership to really get an unbiased and independent view of service rather than a review service. This is a set standards which the individual property or business sets for themselves based around what their aspirations are. And then we send in assessors to measure those and to create a benchmark of where their service standards are and how they're performing. And we also offer a benchmarking service to see how they're doing against the likes of other Forbes properties or AA 5-star or any luxury organization that they wish to compare themselves with.
So that's really, really fascinating. So defining and consistently measuring those bespoke standards, especially for luxury properties, is a unique challenge. And you've been doing this for 30 years, seeing countless changes, I'm sure. So you've mentioned that while the concept of good service hasn't changed, the consistency of delivery and customer expectations have significantly increased. What are the biggest challenges luxury properties face today in maintaining that consistent high-level service across all touchpoints, especially when dealing with a diverse global clientele and an ever-evolving market?
I think primarily, like always, but I think what we found certainly over the last 30 years is that customer expectations is just getting higher and higher and higher. And I've certainly found that really there is no point in believing that there's this set standard that will always ensure that you're at the top. The best organizations and the best companies are buying into a system where there is a continuous improvement of incremental standards achieved. Because a guest who comes to stay with you 1 month is delighted with the level of service. But if they come back 6 months later or years later and they found that the service has stayed at that level and has not actually pushed up in order that they're excited and they're enthused about the product, that's when there's disappointment. And so the best properties are continuously improving. And they're using AI and other technologies to continually improve. Just take, for instance, the booking expectation. 30 years ago, you would be delighted to get an email probably within a week of a confirmation that you've made a booking. And now we get frustrated if a confirmation is not back within a few seconds of booking a property. So that's just an expectation level that's gone up. AI will undoubtedly change that. And I believe it will change it not just on the basis of making sure that you're keeping track of your review systems with the likes of different tools to make sure that your reviews, but it will go deeper and it will establish exactly what your customers are thinking about your product and what they're talking about to their friends and their families, and not just what they publish on a public site. So if you don't come up with the goodies in terms of customer service, I think AI is going to find us out. So I think the old idea where you can perhaps massage and you can create on organize on review sites like Trustpilot and different review trip advisors, etc. I think that's going to change radically within the next 2 or 3 years. And it's going at such a tremendous rate that we're certainly seeing in terms of service delivery that the levels are going higher and higher all the time.
Well, that's really a powerful observation in that there always this pressures to evolve, but at the same time there's pressure for consistency, right? And so there's a tension there that seems kind of almost immense, I think. You've also highlighted the industry's backwardness in adopting new technology, or slowness, I guess, contrasting it with sectors like airlines where self-service is the norm, like you were just saying. Why do you think the hospitality industry, particularly luxury segments, have been so reluctant to embrace technological advancements like AI for operational efficiencies and enhancing the guest journey? What are the biggest barriers to adoption, and what do you believe are the costs of this reluctance for properties that don't adapt quickly?
I think primarily there is an expectation that there is this golden standard of service that is what is expected as good service in a hotel. And I think COVID rather shattered that whole expectation on the basis that it showed that the industry was capable of changing within a very short number of weeks. The whole approach to hygiene, to interactions, to turn down service, to online check in and check out, and contactless aspects. I think the industry has always been slow on adopting the airlines philosophy of, right, well, we're going to have to operate two systems and we'll have an online facility for people, for guests who believe that they want to use those facilities, but we'll also have to have the check-in desks. And I think a lot of hotels are waiting for the situation that there'll be a swift and smooth transition over to online check-in and online check-out, and you'll just convert your reception desk and the receptionist will become just a concierge guest service. I don't think that that will happen, and I think it will be a transition and we will have to operate 2 or 3 different services all at the same time. A little bit like banking.
Mhm.
Banking, most of us do it online, but most towns and cities still have a branch for the old traditional. Obviously, it's going to be more expensive that way.
Right.
And we are probably progressing in 10 years' time to no banks being in the high street. But I think we've got to know that there's this transition of 2 systems or 3 systems all at the same time.
You've discussed how AI used correctly can actually enhance the overall service experience by freeing up staff and personalizing touches rather than replacing human interaction. From your unique vantage point, sort of testing the waters of all these luxury properties and assessing them, what are the most promising specific applications of AI that you believe can genuinely aid the guest journey and improve service delivery, particularly for high value guests who expect bespoke experiences? How can AI help properties self select their service levels to meet diverse guest needs, from the anonymous business traveler to the celebrating couple?
I think it is a matter of responding to that self-selection. That if you offer the alternatives of an online check-in and a guest who is checking in at your hotel for a celebration or such, they will be self-selecting. So it's a matter of responding to the need of the individual guest. There is obviously going to be a massive change within the likes of the concierge service, but I think The concierge service has always been we've always thought of it as an information gathering service of booking theatre tickets, arranging luxury limousines, etc. But the truth of the matter, it's primarily been one of guest interaction. And the fact is that the majority of guests like to be recognized by the concierge and that they are known. And most hotels, probably the number one piece of advice that I ever give to concierge and doorman is the old adage of welcome back. Just to be recognized, you don't have to use the guest name, just to say, I saw that you went out of the hotel for dinner, you came back, welcome back. It infers that you're looking after the security, that I know that you're not just somebody walking into the hotel, acknowledges that you're staying at the hotel and you're paying to stay there, and there's a certain warmth to it. We can go a little bit further and the use of guest name. You can go even further and have, the Ray-Ban Meta spectacles, which will display the guest name up in your. But I think it is the simple things that are going to work easier on the first occasion. And as this technology and as AI becomes more and more relevant and easier to adopt, and probably, let's be honest, also cheaper, it will be adopted by most properties. And I think you have to make a decision whether you are going to be a leader in this type of technology or whether you're going to be a follower where, I'm unfortunately old enough that when I was starting to work in hotels, not all hotels had color TVs in them. There were some hotels that didn't have color TVs in. There were hotels where you'd have porters traipsing around with color TVs, renting them out. And we had the same situation of, Wi-Fi when that was introduced on the
Right.
basis that, there was some wonderful accountant somewhere saying we can charge every guest, $10 a day to use the Wi-Fi. As soon as one hotel group said it's free Wi-Fi,
Right.
that revenue stream, it becomes a cost of operating the hotel. And I think things such as AI adopted services, concierge, room service, certainly having a tablet that you don't have to interact much and is putting forward suggestions to the guest, automatically upselling, I don't know, a club sandwich to a steak sandwich or a additional wine and drinks on top of the service, which hotels struggle with on a regular basis, on a one-to-one sales basis. I think this is the type of technology that's going to make it inevitable that people take advantage.
That's so true, and that's it's one of the things at DMR AI Hospitality Solutions is that we're trying to sort of introduce hospitality suppliers into what are the good uses that we could do that. So I have to say, Graham, your insights into the evolution of luxury standards, the industry's technological adoption, and the strategic role of AI are incredibly valuable, and you've painted a really clear picture of the challenges and the imperative for change. Now, looking at everything we've discussed, from ensuring consistent service to overcoming technological reluctance and leveraging AI for those customized experiences, if you had a magic wand and could fix just one thing in the luxury hospitality industry that would most significantly elevate its standards and secure its future success in meeting evolving guest expectations, what would that one thing be?
Definitely. It's recognizing the guest. It's using the guest name. It's been a challenge throughout 30 years of working with hotels and cruise ships around the world. It is a continuous challenge to try and ensure that even if guests, arrive back time and time again, just to get an acknowledgement and getting that message through to all of the different areas within a hotel operation, be it from not just from the reservation to the reception and arrival and concierge and portering, but also at the restaurant, that the guest doesn't need to tell the sommelier what their favorite wine is, that the cocktail barman has got the drink basically ready to fly, and I'll have my normal, please. It is what a lot of hotel guests are looking for, and they're looking for that acknowledgement. And it is the home away from home, and that's how you would expect if you were going to stay at a good friend's house. They would have your favorite drink ready for you. And I think the luxury boutique hotels really needs to take that aspiration and make it the same scenario. But certainly, I could ask you what your favorite restaurant is, and more often than not, Daniel, if you ask people their favorite restaurant, it's the one they're recognized at. And
There
it's
you
the
go.
one that they go back time and time again. And they say, "Hi, Daniel, lovely to see you again. Take a seat, I'll bring you a drink for you." And that's certainly true in my case. I think we're all open to the a little bit of flattery and a little bit of acknowledgement, and certainly, I think that the trailblazers in this are the luxury cruise ship companies that work towards your own personal butler, to the whole of the concierge and curating the whole of the service all the way through. And that is a real challenge in terms of it being just a cruise ship, a small cruise ship, or a river cruise ship. Many of the elements are continually being changed, and their locations are being, what one week the stop might be, it might not be the next week. And therefore, the person or the team members that are working on it might be a little bit different as well.
Well, there you have it. I mean, basically, you've gone back to the essence of what luxury is, right? People knowing your name. Well, Graham, I have to tell you, this was a great and really captivating conversation. Your deep experience and forward-thinking perspective on luxury hospitality standards and the role of technology are truly inspiring. And I want to thank you so much for joining us on Leading in Luxury today.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure, and great to chat to you again, Daniel, and wish you every success.
I thank you so much. And to our listeners, if you found Graham's insights as compelling as I did, be sure to subscribe to our channel and us a like. You can find more about Graham's invaluable work at the Mystery Partnership in the description below. So for Leading in Luxury, I'm Daniel Renna. We'll see you next time.